Justice Stats, Reggie Johnson, Eugene Morgan coming to you from the lovely city of Atlanta, Georgia. And Eugene, what a tragic day as we were recording here. This has only been about roughly a day as we were recording that Tomlin has resigned and decided that he was going to, a day or two, that he's going to step down.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he goes and does TV or something here, man, right? He's under contract. It's not like he can just go coach somebody else unless they do a Sean Payton type of situation. So here we are after almost 20 years. And I don't think, and we'll talk about the Steelers a little bit later in the show as far as the team goes. But for people who want to kind of blame Tomlin for all the Steelers' woes, I think that you need to be reminded of what he's working with here at the quarterback position, which is the most important position in football. And the Steelers just could not seem to get this right. But still, somehow he managed to win games after winning games. And it was interesting because when listening to the owner talk, it doesn't sound like he was going to be fired. So for people who feel like he might have just been getting ahead of the eight ball, from what I've heard, that's not truth. He was probably going to be able to coach out that to the rest of that contract. The contract, I think you said, goes through 27.
Mm-hmm.
So if he had chosen to just stay, I don't think there was any indication the Steelers were going to fire him, despite what he did. That doesn't seem like their MO. And from what it sounds like, there was an expectation that he was going to be back next year from some in the organization. So it came as a surprise to some. What a career, right? Hat goes off. What an amazing career. You're not going to be able to, it's not many people pull the whole Floyd Mayweather situation, right? Go out and say, I've never lost. I've never taken an L. No losing seasons here for the guy, for the entirety of his illustrious career here. Spanning almost 20 seasons, and some of these with absolutely no name quarterbacks, where we've seen some teams just tank to get destroyed as soon as that position goes away. And Tomlin has managed to win season after season. There was a lot of people who felt like that was a crutch, and that's why the team would not fire him because he was a winning coach. How do you fire a person that's never won? But some people felt like he was not getting over the hump, and it was time for him to go. I think those voices were getting louder and louder in Philly. Or not in Philly, I'm sorry, in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting louder and louder there. It'll be interesting if any of that factored in, but I think that the 30-6 shellacking you take,
mm-hmm.
if you were ever thinking about a time to sit it down, if you ever even remotely thinking about it and saying, hey, maybe I'm thinking about hanging it up, then this is probably when you do it, right? After a game like that, when you say, hey, I'm probably not going to be fired, so I'm just go ahead and fall on the sword now. Give the team a chance to kind of search for some of these QBs too. They can probably get this thing wrapped up in January, depending on, or another coach, before all the coaches get hired up. Because, some coaches, they drag it out. And then, they go, and all the good coaches have already been hired now and interviewed. In this particular case, there's still an opportunity for Steelers to go out and interview a lot of the top candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Solid on his part, doing the right thing all the way up until the end. But, I'm a big Steelers fan, big Mike Tomlin fan, so I am not impartial to this. What say you on the subject here?
I mean, I'm not really surprised. I think there's been, just rumors, and I wonder if there was something behind the scenes that was like between ownership and him. I'm like, look, I think we need to make a change. We want to fire you, but it's the right thing for you to step down. And I know
from what I heard, it was actually the opposite of that. From what I heard that the ownership was surprised that he brought it up.
I know. I just from this a couple seasons, and again, we know that that's a very button up organization. We may or may get the word, but I don't know. I'm happy we didn't get to that point though. I'm happy he was the one that, whether it's whether he did it or whether, kind of ownership came to him and to do it. I'm glad whatever the narrative is, I'm glad it's this narrative, right? I'm glad it's him saying it. I'm glad ownership is saying, hey, we're surprised. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But if there's a guy who kind of deserves that kind of ride off into the sunset if he doesn't coach again, it's him, right? I mean, it's just phenomenal. We were talking on before we got on this. It's like, how many teams would trade this, and here, you're complaining. Oh, you're complaining because you never had a losing season. My gosh,
Right. Could you
when's the
imagine
last
being
time
that fan base, right?
right? When's the last time as a Falcons fans? When's the last time we've had a winning season? We would take that in a heartbeat. Just to say we could build on something. And I mean, and I sent you the text like what the quarterbacks, the dumpster fire of quarterbacks he's had over since Ben's retired. Even the last couple of years of Ben was like a wash Ben. We
Oh, I have said text here. Let's go over that real quick.
go or
Since
tell
2019, Mason Rudolph.
Mason
This has been in his final years. Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges,
Trubisky,
Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's face it. I mean, we knew their line wasn't going to be able to hold against the Texans. I mean, it just came. They've got to revamp that whole offense. They've got weapons.
It's a problem, man. The
Yeah,
offense is a problem in my opinion. It's the offense.
It's been a problem since Ben. I mean, because they knew they had Ben back there. They didn't really have to spend the money because Ben was big. Guys could bounce off him and he could take hits. So they didn't really put the money there. So, and that's the thing. They've got to revamp that. I mean, they've got weapons down there. So, and they've got to address the quarterback. And it's like, hey, do you guys go for the Ty Simpson? Because Moore decided to go back for Oregon. So there's only two quarterbacks. There's only two quarterbacks in this draft. That's it. There's
and
only
you look
two.
at how far. I don't think we're gonna have a shot at Ty, man. I think Ty's gonna get talked up, brother. I think Ty's out of there.
I think really
Ty's
is
out of there within the top 10, man. For sure, I think it's gonna happen.
Absolutely, because then you have two teams in that 1 and 2 slot that need a quarterback. And I honestly thought Moore was going to come out, and I guess I don't blame him. Go back and be in this top quarterback class for next year. I don't blame him, and go back and be with Oregon and probably be a top 5 team in the AP poll next year. So, it'll be very interesting to see who's going to who they pick coach. That's going to be the interesting part right there. But man, kudos. I mean, I'm just in awe of the guy. He's always been just a solid coach. And I'm here's the thing. I'm glad he won the Super Bowl because I would have hate that he would have went through this whole time and never won. I'm just glad.
Sure.
I'm glad he got the Super Bowl because we would have been talking about, he never got over the hump, but at least he has that. He has the hat and he has the record.
And one as an assistant, right? With Cower. He got one with Cower.
Right.
And as an assistant. And then he's got one himself. And I think he's shown that when he had a quarterback that he could, he's won all these times. So I don't.
Right. He won with a quarterback. He won the Super Bowl with a quarterback. And then he won just regular season games, which is, let's just face it. Look how the league has changed. Look how the league has become more quarterback friendly and you need a quarterback. And how many times have we said, if you have the coach, you have the quarterback, you can win? He's been the opposite, man. He's been the coach and had the quarterback and listen, I'm glad. I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked great this year and they masked all his inefficiencies, but he is definitely not the Aaron Rodgers that you got even 6 years ago. And to take that team and to even, and I thought when they went through that tough schedule, this is going to be hard for them to get to that 10 wins. And man, they gutted it out and they got there. And I mean, I just don't know what you say that other than we all know he's a future Hall of Famer. I'm glad he kept Super Bowl win, and we're not going to have to worry about. And we're not going to have to go. He climbed that mountain, and he also has a record, and he also says, I coached good quarterbacks, and I coached a bunch of trash, and I still never had a losing record. That should be his Hall of Fame speech right there.
It's interesting because looking at Rooney's comments on the situation, there did seem to be some. He came into the meeting knowing he described himself as surprised but not shocked by the decision.
Mm-hmm.
He said that while he didn't necessarily expect the news that day, he had sensed that the meeting was coming to an end. The team was willing to take another run at it next year with Mike, but looked like Tomlin was ready for a change, and Rooney said he sensed that Mike might be ready for a change.
Yeah.
noting that after nearly 2 decades in such a high-pressured role, it was clear they were getting towards the end. Interesting. And he did not attempt to talk Tomlin out of it once the coach made his intentions clear. Interesting. And Tomlin also expressed a desire to spend more time with his family and do things he had been able to do during his coaching career. And I think that's something, guys, but let's not poo-poo that too, by the way. A lot of times people want to be cynical in the sense of thinking that money's everything. And if you decide to leave a coaching job like this, why would you leave it? You have to leave it in a negative fashion. Be it you just being tired of it, you quitting, or you being fired. But sometimes it's just you're ready for a change after 2 decades. Sometimes that really is the fact. You've been doing something for almost 20 years.
Right.
You might be ready to look into something else. And then maybe once you step away from it for a while, you start to miss it. And then you decide to come back to it. You say, hey, you know what? I'm refreshed now. I can come back to coaching. Maybe I did want to go and talk about football on TV. Maybe I do want to go to more of my kids' games. Maybe I do want to go take a few vacations and a few trips, see a few places. I just want to change some things for now, and I can kind of come back to it. I don't think that's crazy from a guy who has been coaching the same place for 19 years,
Right. And, I probably had to wear on him a little bit the last couple of years that he's hearing from the fan base. Fire Tomlin.
Consistently, right?
Right.
They've been ready to fire him for a while.
Right.
And the guy's not losing.
Right. So, that's got to take some on, and again, it's like, why not take some time off and refresh? And, it'll all tell too. So if he takes a TV gig and if he's like just praising players and coaches, then he's going to take another gig. If he's highly critical, then he's going to coach again. Or he's not going to coach again. So
you look at Sean Payton did, right? Sean Payton.
That's what Sean Payton. Sean Payton was like.
Sean Payton went on TV.
Yep.
Was on there. I don't forget how many seasons, Eugene. I'm not sure if he did 2 or 3 seasons. I forgot how many.
He's one season. He was one season.
So you see these guys, they go on TV, and they'll be on there for a while, and you'll see guys get hired off of television. Also, right. So it's like it's very much. It's not like it's a dead end situation. No matter what he decides to do, I feel like a name like his would be hot in coaching circles until he's like 80, I guess, or so, and people just feel like he's just not going to come back. You know what I mean? But until for the next, I'm not sure how old he is now, but
53.
He's 53 now?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, bro. You got about 10 years solid, brother.
Right.
They're chasing you for a decade, homie. They're going to be chasing you for about 10 years. So easily they're chasing you for 10 years. So if you decided to come back, maybe remember when John Gruden was on TV? And every year, is John coming back? And is John coming back? Can we get him out the booth? This seems like a thing that people like to try to do. Let's get him out the booth. So he'll have opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
But I definitely appreciate everything that he has put in to my beloved Steelers there.